We've discussed at length of what it takes to change your reality, to be what you really want to be. We've discussed in great detail the techniques and the tools that are necessary for you to be able to consciously apply new, enhanced ideas to your belief systems and, in turn, your reality. All this is to directly affect changes that you desire, allowing these changes to remain in your life for the rest of your life, permanently. We've also talked about the idea of how important it is to get in touch with your definitions and beliefs, to really understand them. For those are the things that actually determine what and how you experience your reality to be. And we've talked about the idea of the motivating power of emotions, that at every given moment you are choosing whatever they are, which in turn is your behavior, thus becoming the reflective experience as the result of that behavior. Today, this changes. Today, we draw back the curtain and reveal what true reality really is. Choosing these things and being motivated to choose these things based on the strongest definition that has been entrained within your subconscious since childhood. In other words, the strongest belief you have about what is possible in this reality or lack of possibility in reality is what motivates you to choose the kind of paths, the kind of behaviors, make the kind of choices that you do in life, and thus get the results that you may or may not expect. After all, you know what Einstein said.
Yeah, and another way of saying it is if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Exactly.
Pretty simple, all right? That sounds like something Forrest Gump should have said, but he didn't. So guess what?
Can't do that
If
haircut. All right.
if you're running the past programs of fears, doubts, and limitations, then it means that you're not fully paying attention to the patterns in your life. And if you remember our first episode on this month's theme, it was all about the impact these conditioned patterns can have on your life. But just noticing the patterns is the beginning. Welcome, everyone, to the second episode in our monthly theme titled 7 Ways to Squash Fears, Doubt, Limiting Self-Worth, Even if the World Feels Like It's Against You. It's great to be back this week. For those of you who didn't know or missed it, we did our 5-day challenge last week, and it was so amazing. It was amazing to see so many of you join us on the 3 steps to your ultimate badass self and living life without compromise. And we continue to hear day after day. We're hearing, testimonials, feedback. We're getting people's lives have been shifted and changed. The participation was over the top, and that's why so many people getting the results. And the positive impact that people got from the 5 days was truly inspiring. So we will be doing it again. If you missed it, we do plan on doing another one. Even if you've done it this time, coming back to it again, you come back as a different person. So you start at a different place. You're going to get different info. You're going to build on that. But we will be doing it again. We will let you know when that is, when we set another date or time for it. And if you do want to be notified the next time we do it, type hashtag 5 days in the chat, and we'll keep you on a list to private message you with details for registering. That's hashtag 5 days. And that way we will add you on the list. Mary says it was epic. Yeah, it was. We had so many great feedback from that. Some patterns do serve you and others don't, right? The trick is to figure out which is which. For example, one of our patterns here on Thursday streams, is to ask you to comment in the chat where you're tuning in from every week. So go ahead and do that now. Let us know where you're tuning in from if you're chiming in here. And we do this so that we encourage building a global community, because it's through that type of repetitive repetition of habit that becomes established. So, and you may think that it's just, us getting you to interact, but on a deeper level, it's our way to presenting the opportunity for you to, number one, see that you are not alone in your quest to better yourself. And number two, for you to potentially create some deep connections with others who have similar interests and beliefs. All right. So we got Margate, UK. We got Memphis.
There we are.
Awesome. Keep them rolling in. So let me ask you, and from Florida, let me
Florida.
ask you, and you don't have to respond in the chat, but just think deeply for yourself. In what ways have your fears prevented you from living your life to the fullest? And we talked about this throughout the 5-day challenge, but I want you to think about, in what ways have they prevented you from doing certain things, experiencing certain things? In what ways have they created doubt in your inner power or your inner greatness, and how has that impacted you? And how deeply has any limiting self-worth wounded your spirit? Think about that. Whatever your answer was, it's because you've been ignoring the patterns that seduce you into thinking that is the only reality you can experience. And we'd like to challenge that. We challenge it in a variety of different ways. This is 75 episodes now. Oh my gosh. Because when you get intoxicated with that seduction, you start to formulate belief systems with definitions about what reality is,
Exactly.
what is possible, and what your perceived self-worth is. But what if all along those limiting self-doubts, that limited self-worth, and those debilitating fears were wrong?
What if? What if? The repetition of thoughts and habits, they form a pattern, a series or a cycle of ideas, observations which allow you to create a perception of continuity and cohesion. These woven together creates a tapestry of beliefs you run your life by, thus creating the physical reality that you are now experiencing. Each and every one of these beliefs is the representation of a vibrational resonance, a particular frequency of the fundamental energy patterns that give rise to physical reality. And thus you are existing within a particular vibration, which is manifested into your physical reality. It's manifested as your physical experience of reality, operating on a certain vibrational wavelength. It has a tendency to, or in physical reality, to attract to itself patterns, patterns of vibratory frequency that are similar in nature to its original vibration. In this way, it will key into other beliefs, other vibrational patterns that will amass around this primary belief, creating what appears to be a frame of reference in which to understand and be able to perceive the original belief by surrounding itself with slightly out of phase vibrations, all similar but not exact, so that you have a reference point or some surrounding, some illusion of background against which you can experience your primary belief. For example, and I've used this before, and it's one of the best demonstrations. Imagine you are an actor, whether you're in a movie or a stage play, you will need a set upon which to perform, or in this case, live. So your beliefs of which character you are representing or performing as will be reflected in the set decor and all of your supporting actors. So if you're in a Western themed play, it's highly unlikely that you're going to see a rocket ship on the set. It doesn't match the belief system or the vibration. Ideally, like items will be attracted into that vibrational experience, which will enhance the overall theme of your performance, hence your life. So recognize that one primary belief will always, in physical reality, extend itself to create a system of beliefs with which it becomes surrounded and supported. So that this primary belief can have a place to exist in physical reality. No belief system will exist as an island unto its own. Just as we described in the Me Mirror episode months back. Once reflected, every belief is accompanied by its own entourage of supporting beliefs, a complete and total set of props to complete the supporting environment. The stage is set, complete with resources, support staff of friends and fellow believers, and a total enriching environment. And you should be aware of this by now. In current societal behaviors, it's more of birds of a feather, as they say. As assemblage of similar belief systems allow the primary belief to stand out, which occurs relatively as an automatic function. It functions quite naturally within you, so rapidly, so quickly, you may not even realize it. You may not have realized until now, which is what we're known for. This is what you are doing to create and maintain the seemingly background of your reality. This becomes so second nature that you have had a tendency to think of it as simply as, well, that's the way things are, or that's the way reality is. Learned beliefs designed to hinder your expansion. You are so deep in the trees, you can no longer see the forest. So your life happens in this reality, in the specific beliefs of your reality that manifest themselves against this backdrop of the overall reality. Chosen by you, created by you. But it's not that simple. You can't just simply say, well, that's the way it is. Because this is where many of you are getting confused or caught up in a reality that you yourselves created and perpetuate, but didn't want, and seemingly can't escape. So, can I say, you created it, so just live with it? Yeah, I could say that, but I won't. Because our mission, Gary and myself, is to present to you a clear and concise realization. And it's this, yes, you created it, so that proves that you have the ability and the power to create a new one, a new reality. But do you have the will to do it? Do you have the determination to utilize this power and create a different one for yourself? One so amazing, so beautiful, so spectacular that it'll attract more of the same, merging with others whom have similar visions of your own reality. which I'm sure leads to another question. How do you interact with others if all of this is coming from within you? Well, that's a good question. And time, the linear representation of time, is ingrained these belief structures within you, within all of us. To the extent that you take this background that you've created for granted, and you simply think of it much as if your realization of reality were something that exists without you, outside of you, rather than from within you. It's all inside you. In this way, it has been one of the primary mechanisms that has allowed you to experience the illusion of the universal reality as seemingly outside of yourselves. And you may recognize that all society, because of the replication of this idea, has adopted all of it as physical reality. It's become somewhat of like a mass psychosis perpetuated for centuries. I know this is deep. Is everybody still with me? Pop me a thumbs up that you're still on board. So what Gary and I have been demonstrating for the last year and a half, especially in our master labs, is that as soon as you change the fundamental primary focus beliefs that represent the being you are, the entire background will change with it. Everything changes, not just your perception of it. And understanding that everything is connected. Everything is the same one thing. And a change in the primary focus creates what we've demonstrated as the ripple effect. You toss the stone into the pond. That's the new belief, causing the changes to radiate from its core, thereby changing the essence of your life all the way down the line and redesigning the entire pattern, the entire backdrop, a new stage to perform upon. Remember how we've asked you about the ever so slight, the subtle changes you've experienced after doing one of the micro hacks? That's the ripple, ever so slight. You must become aware of these. If for anything, to know and feel and sense progress in the changes that you have been working so hard to create. Thus, it's allowed some of you to recognize that whole systems of reality, not just one portion, but the total system of reality that you perceive your lives to be. When we'll, because then change from system to system, belief to belief, not just pieces or particles to particles. Everything will transform in that way. Think of the ripple in the pond. You may not be able to perceive it, but the ripple continues to the borders of the pond. Further, if it were bigger. Many of you watching this simply have but to realize that many of the things that you wish to see occur, many of the things you desire to see validations of in a particular specific sense will also occur if you will change the entire system first. Stop waiting for the right reality system to come along. Because if you're not resonating it, it ain't coming. If you're not resonating it now, it will not show up. Many times, when you seek to create changes in your life, your own primary belief focus will only continuously weigh the primary focus or its change against the backdrop that you will not allow yourselves to see has actually changed. But if you're willing to recognize the ripple effect of everything changing, when you change anything, then you stop seeing that primary background with the same perception. You'll begin to realize that something is different somewhere, somehow. We've talked about this at length in our Saturdays Down the Rabbit Hole. Lots of you have joined on. You should keep doing it and such, because you're going to keep picking up more and more nuggets to help with this. This is why many of you create the contradictions in your life. Because you say that you wish to change your primary belief. But I want to, but I will, but I wish this would happen first, but. And right now, this very minute, count how many times you've said this to yourself this week. I'll make that even easier. Monday to Thursday. Oh, hell, yesterday to today. Because when you look around in your environment, you continually watch for the same environment, and that's the but. Comparing the idea of your primary belief against the new change, rather than allowing the entire environment to be part of the new enhanced belief and change along with it. When you look at the background from the same old perception, you immediately cancel the change you made from your primary focus because you compartmentalized it, you boxed it up. When in actuality, it's all one and the same thing. For example, those of you who did the 5-day challenge, what did you experience? Are you still seeing them now? If you are, good. If not, you stepped back into the old, complacent, comfortable environment. Once the new environment is observed, most simply won't accept it. But rather, the ego feels the need to test it. That's the you sentiment. So imagine the pond again. You've created the initial ripple with a new belief causing the ripples. Then you test it with a partial belief and create another ripple, which now can become an interference ripple pattern, distorting or even canceling out the first ripple. People, you've got to have faith in the progress, in the process, faith in yourself. Faith in yourself, faith in the process. And since I brought up the 5-day challenge that Gary was talking about as well, those of you who are on it or just signing up for it, the private group page comes down this weekend. So hurry up and finish the lessons and take that next real step into reality. It's been amazing. So understand, like we discussed back in episode 23, I think it was, definitive actions taken will matter. Actions not taken will also matter too, but not necessarily the direction that you prefer. Also realizing that this is your choice, because we are at such a crucial, pivotal point in our own personal timeline. Nevertheless, that we can give you some insights that can help you make the choices that you prefer to make and experience the world that you are yearning for, to experience the expanded, enhanced version of you that is more reflective of who you prefer to be in the kind of reality that you prefer to experience. From here, you can radiate outwards the feelings of love and gratitude as the world around you responds to you rather than you reacting to the world. One of my favorite quotes from Gandhi is, "We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies of the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. This is the divine mystery supreme. A wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do." Thanks.
Yeah, and the we talked a few streams ago about, we shared the self in the mirror hack, and that's where you had to sit in front of the mirror and
Yes.
really work at connecting with the truth of who you are in the moment. And if you haven't done the practice, sometimes when you do it, you come face to face with your fears, and you can see them for how they've shaped who you are, what you do, and even what you're willing to allow yourself to become. So remember, whenever you come up against anything that you believe doesn't empower you, or doesn't encourage you to stand in your authentic self, then your power to transform is in your power to choose your definitions. Let me say that again. Your power to transform is in your power to choose your definitions. You can choose to define things in ways that give you a perspective that reminds you of what's most important for you in your life right now. Or you can choose to focus on the definitions that disempower you and show you what's not possible for you in your life. But what if you were to suspend any disbeliefs long enough, just long enough, that you allowed yourself to experience some deeply profound insights into what may be holding you back? What if? In fact, that may have always, things that may have always been holding you back, not just in the moment, but always, and have taken different shape and different form, holding you back from the reality that you desire and that you deserve. Can you honestly say that you are ready right now to transform those definitions? Think about it. Because that would mean you'd have to rewire those beliefs. And like Ross said, it has to be the whole thing. You have to rewire those beliefs to propel you into the matrix reality that you say that you want. I mean, if you've been on our streams more than just today, and maybe even already today, you'll know that we like to challenge the way you think about yourself. We like to challenge what you believe your potential and even the world around you is. And those that have done the 5-day challenge got a dose of that in a very short period of time.
Yes, they did.
Okay? But we're not satisfied. We're not satisfied with that. And you shouldn't be either. You shouldn't be satisfied with temporary transformations. Once you get a taste of your new empowered perspectives, you develop a thirst for for living your life in more alignment, with more integrity, and from your true, authentic self. I mean, if you only knew and believed the magic that you possess. You know, Ross talked about, the whole set changing and with the characters and all. You do that in your reality. You're the one, moment by moment, making that manifestation occur. Your transformative powers that are innate in you and the powers that you haven't even uncovered yet. Because you wouldn't allow the fears, the doubts, and the limited self-worth to just go. Because they control you. So you want to get to a place where you wouldn't ever again allow those fears, those doubts, those limiting self-worth to have control over you ever again. You just embody your badass self and refuse their input. And then the more you do that, the more you create that gap from where you were to where you want to be, then where you want to be becomes so enticing that going back is just not an option. Forward is the only direction. Even and especially if it means taking a leap of faith and trusting in your spiritual evolving life force. But this only happens when you cultivate the skills of defining the reality you want. That's why we put so much attention on in the 5-day challenge. Getting clear on what it is, where's the end goal? And then believing in those definitions of the truth of who you are. Those definitions of your badass self showing up. Because if a leap is required, then your belief in whatever and whether you can make the jump is the determining factor. If you believe that you can, then your chances to leap confidently go up. If you don't believe in yourself, then your results on your leap, if even done, would be feeble at best, resulting in results that would reflect the efforts that were taken. And the reason that is when you hold on to a clear definition and then claim a belief to be true, you then have a conviction that you are compelled to prove. Okay? And you'll tend to go to all means to prove it, no matter the cost. Even if that cost means losing some of yourself. Even if that cost means not living and showing up in your full authentic self. You make the necessary claims to confidence in that thing being true and real. Then you adopt all the necessary presuppositions needed to be convinced. So you fill the scene with the evidence so that it can't be any other way. And you can do that for the vision you prefer too, to the reality that you prefer. Because this all translates into a magical and an immediate transformation in your neuropeptides, your hormones, your muscle tone, your body's cellular wisdom, and even the firing off of specific brain clusters to experience that belief, positive or negative. so that it becomes true for you as the way things are in your reality. And as Henry Ford said, whether the beliefs are positive or negative, either way, they contribute to your outcome. So can you see the structure of your reality is a direct reflection of the structure of your beliefs? You're starting to see that? We talk about it in a variety of different ways in these episodes. And if that's the case, then what if you could change the structure of your beliefs around your fears, around your doubts, around your limiting self-worth? Even just a slight shift. Your experience of reality would change too in regards to those areas that you've made change or the shift. So what is the code in the infinity matrix for the structure of beliefs? It's actually quite simple. For a belief to have impact in the infinity matrix, it needs to have form in a sense that there has to be a specific neurological structure, actual physiological neurological structure in what we call the internal matrix. Okay, and that structure holds specific processing or types of thinking patterns to protect that belief and project it out into the matrix. There also has to be a unique blend of individual perspectives and points of view of the external matrix, all containing the data, the information, and the specific thoughts that develop and shape that mental form that's in there. And it's like Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Dispenza, Chopra, and many other visionaries have said, and been saying it for many years. Your thoughts can and do impact your reality, right down to the neurological patterning. And when it comes to the mental form of a belief, it alters every aspect of reality that you are willing to perceive and experience. So the goal is to figure out how to establish a set of harmonious beliefs, to continue to reinforce them, and then establish a solid and lasting belief system. And this system organizes and implements certain brain functions that are different from someone with a different belief system, therefore impacting what you are ultimately capable of doing, to the behaviors that you establish as habits, and even the way you interrelate with the environment around you. And if you were on the challenge, the bonus day, on day 6, we gave you the bonus day, I talked about the markers of transformation. Your beliefs are a very pivotal part of that. And ultimately, all this becomes a support system for the identity you claim yourself to be on a day-to-day basis. The belief systems are complex. They absolutely are. And they include a very personalized mixture of internal programs that access both hemispheres of the brain, your limbic system, which processes emotions and memory, your immune system, your nervous system, your neuropeptides, as I mentioned. Everything is involved. And they're all responsible for the synaptic transitions in the brain, which affect a wide range of biological functions and many other functions that are still being discovered. And the thing about beliefs is that we all have our own specifically designed puzzle, our own recipe that we've pieced together, that we've mixed and blended together with what we allow in as truth or what we ignore because we assign it as unimportant. Paying attention to some stressors and not others. There are circumstances where we relate well with some types of people and others we don't. Those are all navigated by the belief systems. And this puzzle or this mixture we put together consists of information and experiences that we distort, we delete, we generalize. The detail, we generalize, we distort and delete the details to fit our narrative of what we claim to be true. We claim to be, not is the truth, but we claim to be true. Now think about it, right? There are over 7.9 billion people on almost 8 billion people who live on the planet, who each have their own version of reality based on their thinking style and the mental forms they've established, using their primary representational systems, what they see, what they hear, what they feel, what they taste, what they smell, as the primary means of taking that stuff in and processing it. And how that translates into an individualized concoction of brain chemistry with all the different learning styles and all the preferences, the neurological networks, language preferences, the personalized lexicon with verbal patterns and filtering mechanisms unlike anyone else's. It is complex. We get it, right? And with all that going on, it's a wonder how we can come to any consensus of what we collectively call reality at all. Right? Such a varying content that includes but is not limited to political theories, economic views, religious doctrines, inherited or established moral values, concepts of what we consider ethical, all come into play so we can make certain assumptions about life's meanings. So we look for signs, we look for symbols, we look for words that bring meaning to our philosophies about relationships, sexuality, and life in general. We presuppose what it means to feel pain and pleasure, what it means to be scared, fearful, or even worthy. Even what we will accept as being healthy or having goodness of heart or who or what equals evil, when and why we are motivated, and whether we are open to learn easily or even at all. And with an unlimited amount of possible combinations of all the things that go into the designing of your puzzle of reality, the question is, how do you make a change in a particular belief that would have the biggest and most profound impact on your whole system? Throughout your life, you are either going to be building or reinforcing empowering and growth-oriented beliefs. You can't get away from it. You've been doing it and you will continue to do it. They'll either be limiting or destructive beliefs or empowering ones. That's the way it is, right? Those belief systems come together to create your very own, very real, and very convincing map of your reality. And when you assess your level of satisfaction with the territory you're exploring, called life, called environment, when you do that, you can decide to define the reality you prefer over the one you were conditioned to accept as truth. It comes down to the definitions. And we talk about that in so many ways. What has been the past conditioning or definitions you have that brought life to your fears? Think about it. How have they encouraged self-doubt instead of strength and confidence? Who or what convinced you of the definition you have of your self-worth and value in life? Isn't it about time that you get to redefine and choose for yourself. That's what we've been, since episode 1, we've been telling you it's about getting to a place of choice. And these are the kinds of questions that can enter your mind and persist until just the right time, when you're truly ready to squash those fears, those doubts, those limiting self-worth, and even when it feels like the world is against you. So just let all that sink into your unconscious in a way that would serve you best. And if you enjoy the stream, enjoy the topic and the content today, again, we are going to do more slipping and sliding down the rabbit hole on Saturday, right? Saturday's rabbit hole segment. Let me put it back on the screen here. For those of you who want to join us, it's a live Zoom call, if you didn't know, where we have interactive conversations with those who show up, and we talk about just about any topic. We cover some of the topics that we cover on Thursdays. We explore things outside of it. Wherever you want the conversation to go, it's a lot of fun. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Daylight Time now. And so it's 8 a.m. And just go to hackingtheinfinitematrix.com/rabbit hole to get the Zoom link. And we will see you there Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'll add on,
That's right.
Gary, there's some amazing questions in the stream today too. So
Oh, great.
Rabbit
Okay.
Hole is the place to find your answers and such, because the answers are too big to try to type in. Rabbit Hole is the place to get those answers for you.
Yeah, and come and have a conversation with about if there's anything that we sparked, then come and have that conversation with us, and we can explore all different aspects of it from your perspective, from ours, and from everybody else's. All right.
And then you can ask questions and interact, so that we get you very concise, detailed answers. So that's what Rabbit Hole was designed for, and such. And the people who have
Right,
come
to build a community which is growing
amazing.
really nicely. Yeah, so it's a great time if you can make it. Block the time off, 8 a.m. Saturday morning. It is a free Zoom call, so all you can do is just register, and then you'll get the Zoom link emailed, and then you can join us at that time. All right. So that's our stream for today, everyone. Thanks for sticking around and participating today. We really appreciate you and feel very grateful that you've joined us on these streams. If you enjoy the content, please comment on it. Please let us know. Also share with others so we get to spread this word more, and we get to have more and build a bigger, broader base of community. That would be greatly appreciated. And till next time, be well, and remember, we dare you to be exceptional. Implement these hacks, master the art of designing your reality, and implement what you learn, and learn from what you implement. All right? Be well, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.